Most teams aim for high code coverage, and when that number looks good, you think you're ready to release. But that number is meaningless without context. It doesn't tell you whether you tested your most important code on real hardware. It doesn't tell you whether half your tests are testing the same code. And it definitely doesn't tell you whether you're ready to release. So the real question isn't, what is our code coverage? The real question is, have we tested the parts of the code that really matter? The next Coco release helps you answer exactly these questions. It highlights the code that carries the most risk, unifies coverage across languages, simplifies setup for complex code bases, and brings visibility to coverage in embedded devices. So let's dive in. We all have this problem. We have code coverage data, but we don't know what to do with it. Unfortunately, not all code is the same. If you have 0% coverage on very simple code, maybe that's fine. But if you have an uncovered code section that has a very high complexity, because it has many if conditions, switch statements, and loops, then there is a very high chance that this part of the code is hiding some bugs. But code coverage treats these two functions as the same, 0% coverage. So teams end up optimizing for the wrong thing. They chase coverage percentages instead of going after the riskiest part of their code. Easy code gets tested so that the numbers go up, but complex, risky code remains untested. This is where Coco comes in. In this release, we're introducing the CRAP metric. Haha, you got that right? But it just means change risk anti-patterns. It combines cyclomatic complexity with code coverage and turns them into one score. So functions with high complexity but low coverage end up with a high score, and functions with low complexity with low coverage end up with a low score, so that you can make a distinction between these two scenarios. Scores above 30 indicate a very high risk, and Coco highlights these functions for you. It provides a prioritized list of functions so you can focus on what really matters. Instead of asking, what's our code coverage percentage? The better question is, where is our riskiest code? Now you can stop chasing percentages and start focusing on risk. Next up, Python. Many projects combine Python and C++ in one codebase together. For their code coverage measurements, you would often have coverage.py on the Python side and a tool like Coco on the C++ side. But the result of this setup is that you end up with two separate coverage reports, but no visibility on how to connect them. You end up with tools that operate independently, but it also limits with what you can do. You cannot use Coco's code coverage analysis features across the stack, and you cannot run test benefit analysis on your entire codebase. As the newest addition to Coco, we're introducing cmimport. It's a new tool that bridges the gap between multiple languages in your codebase. It converts coverage.py reports into Coco's internal formats and enables the integration of Python coverage into Coco. How does it work? You just run your tests, you produce a coverage.py JSON report, and you import this report into Coco's format. The immediate benefit for this is that you get Python and C++ code in one place, and there doesn't have to be any changes to your existing workflow. So you end up with faster feedback cycles, less wasted testing efforts, and a unified view of your code coverage across the stack. And we're not stopping at Python. This is just the first step into bringing more languages into Coco and bringing you more code coverage information across your multi-language codebase. Now let's talk about setup and configuration. Setting up Coco on a new toolchain can be very difficult, and more so especially in embedded environments. This typically requires a lot of manual effort. This friction impacts team behavior, where teams end up delaying code coverage until the very end, or maybe they would skip it entirely. In this release, we're introducing Coco Setup. It's a new tool designed to make the setting up of Coco much easier. With Coco Setup, you can automatically detect your compiler toolchains, and you can create the coverage scanner wrappers automatically, and this reduces a lot of the manual effort that you need to invest in order to set up Coco for toolchains like for embedded devices and so on. There are two options for where your coverage scanner wrappers can be created. You can create them in place for restricted environments like IDEs, or you can create them in a separate directory for command line usage. Running Coco Setup is also very easy. You just execute it in your terminal, and it provides you a guided step-by-step experience into configuring your toolchains. Setting up Coco previously used to require a lot of deep specialist knowledge, but now it's a simple 5-minute task. And this enables a workflow shift. Coverage stays enabled during your entire development process, and you can use it continuously instead of being a late-stage gate. Finally, let's talk about embedded devices. For teams building embedded applications with Qt for MCUs, coverage on the actual target device has rarely been worth the effort. This means most teams release without knowing whether their code was ever fully executed on the device. In regulated industries, that's a compliance risk. Coco changes all that. With a new Qt for MCU support, you just have to connect your board, run your application, and you end up getting a complete coverage picture across C++ and QML. Coco now uses the device link protocol to automate device detection and coverage data transfer. No more need for debugger scripting or custom I/O. Most importantly, Coco now instruments both C++ and the Qtpic ultralight version of QML, merging them into a single unified view. With this, you can see both front-end and back-end execution in one report. This means shorter test cycles and a complete picture of what actually ran on the target, from a QML button press all the way down to the C++ business logic. This is the kind of information that is crucial in ensuring you're confident in a release. In the beginning, we ask a simple question. Have we tested the parts of the code that actually mattered? Coco helps you answer that with confidence. With CRAP metric, you can focus on testing the code with the highest risk instead of chasing coverage percentages. With cmimport, you can analyze Python and C++ code coverage in one report. And with Coco Setup, enabling code coverage becomes an easy task instead of a project milestone. And with Qt for MCU support, you can easily see what ran on real hardware. These improvements turn coverage from a number you report into something that you can use to make release decisions. Coco 7.5 is available now. You can find more information in the description. Thank you for watching.
Coco, your code covered. Try it today.